Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Friday the 15th of April 2022. This is episode 206. I had to pull the plug on our pre-recording chat because I thought it was just so good, Damon, that the listeners wouldn't want to miss out on it. We're talking fried chicken, Happy Eye fried chicken. I've just been back from a trip to the south of Thailand where they do the best fried chicken in the world. I was describing the recipe to Damon with this lovely sort of garlicky, peppery batter to it that you eat with sticky rice and crispy fried shallots in the morning. That's breakfast. What a lucky man I am to be enjoying that. And you started talking about crisps, and I was like, Damon, stop, save it. The listeners need to know about the crisps you got from the Asian market.
Yes. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our weekly conversation about New Japan Pro Wrestling and all things in between. Yeah, so I went, and it's like I don't even think we get any real like real food. We just get all snacks, and I got a couple bags, different flavors, and I was disappointingly sharing with Joel. I think I went 0 for 3 on my flavors. I went oh, you know what? I take that back. Can I take that back? I'm going to take it back. I went 1 for 3. 1 for 3. One of them I liked. 2 of them I was like, I might not like. Do you want to guess on the flavors, or do you just want me to share with you and the listeners which ones I picked?
Maybe give me a clue. Give me one clue.
I can.
If I can't get it, then tell us.
All right. You could shove it in your head. You could. Let's see here. What would be a good guess? How about this clue? If you could be in a pickle if you put this, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but it's a cucumber, Joel. It's a cucumber. It's a cucumber flavor.
Okay.
Cucumber.
So these must be the Chinese Lays then.
Correct.
The cucumber flavor.
That is correct.
That's some weird ass flavors over there. I was not a fan of the Chinese crisps because, your flagship signature flavors for Lay's in China were things like cucumber flavor, yogurt flavor, lime flavor, what do you call it? Meat sauce, like kind of bolognese flavor, and none of them were good.
Okay, then we're on the same page. Then we are on the fucking same page because yes, it says cucumber on the fucking thing, and trust me, it tasted like a fucking cucumber, but I don't know if it was.
What were you expecting it?
Right. I don't know. I mean, it literally everything. There was no indicator that
cucumber flavor crisps look good. Ugh, they taste like cucumber.
Right.
This is outrageous.
This is preposterous. I'm taking these back. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but it was like, wow, it's a fucking cucumber. And I don't know if it was. Here's the thing. I don't necessarily know if it was the chip itself, like the crisp, whatever the fuck part of the world you are in. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know if it was the product or it was me, in the sense of I can't wrap my fucking head around the fact that this tastes like a cucumber. And it did taste like a cucumber. So maybe, and I like cucumbers. I really like cucumbers. I'm a cucumber connoisseur. It was, I don't know. I had like 3 or 4 of them. Like first I had it and I was like, whoa, I don't know if I want this. But then like, it was like, all right, maybe I do. Maybe I do like this. And then I had like 2 more and I was like, okay, I dig this. I do like this. And then I had two more, and I was so sick of the taste in my mouth that I was like, I can't do anymore. You know what I mean? Like that is that. You know how they say like you can't eat more than one. You know, it's impossible to eat more than one potato chip. Okay, well, I found the one where you can, because the taste was just like I needed something else in my mouth, cock, something like that, to change the flavor profile because it was too much. It was too intense, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid to say, whilst I did have a wonderful time in China and did excellent at lots of things, lots of their food are tasty. Crisps, they don't know what they're doing.
No.
And I will quite happily go on the record and say that you can cancel me. Chinese crisp companies, bleh,
yeah,
crap. Except the only good flavor was the one, I think you've tried these ones, the hot pot flavor, the spicy numbing ones, the mala ones.
Yeah,
they're good. Everything else trash.
They're good. Again, cucumber. Second one I got was like barbecue chicken or some shit. It was like, ugh. But the one that I did get that was not bad, and I would do again, was seaweed. Seaweed was good. Like I was eating like a fucking sushi.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I liked that one a lot. Let me take that back. Not a lot. I liked it. It was fine. But yeah, little strikeout there. So there you go. We had the best fried chicken. You said right? Best fried chicken.
No, okay, I can't.
Now he's
I love
backpedaling.
fried chicken. It would be rude of me to place one above the other. It is my favorite fried chicken.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think everyone should actually try and make it. They should try and cook it themselves. Look up a recipe for Hattie Eye fried chicken and have a go. Because Mally often makes it at home. It is so good.
Oh,
it is wonderful.
I would love to experience that dining. Better than Nando's, as I say.
For me, yeah. I mean, Nando's is okay, but Hattie Eye fried chicken is on another level, my friend. You got to try it.
All right. I will take that fried chicken and I'll put it up against, and I cannot remember the place, so I have no idea how we would do it. But one time I had to go to Atlanta for work reasons, and I had the best fucking fried chicken down there, dude. It was fucking unbelievably great. Like bring tears to your eyes. I'll never eat this. You want to buy like 5 buckets to store in your luggage to take home because you're never going to have it again.
Yeah. That's what Mally says. She's like, "Oh, should we take some chicken back to Bangkok?" I'm like, "It's not going to be nice after we transported it for several hours."
But you're not.
Have you ever tried the Korean fried chicken?
Yeah, but not like I feel like not real in the sense of I'll go into like Philly and have it there, and it's good. It's good. I mean, I've never been to Korea, so I don't know if I really had the real thing, but yeah, I like that. Yes, I do.
It's just interesting how many sort of different global cuisines have their own little take on fried chicken, but it does make it to all global cuisines, isn't it? Like I would struggle to think of a country's cuisine where they don't have some sort of interpretation of fried chicken. With Japan, you've got your karaage, and now I can't think of any others.
Doesn't Brazil have a fried chicken? Isn't there like I could be wrong, but maybe I'm thinking Peru. I don't know, but some
listeners from around the world share your regional fried chicken recipes with us.
Yes, I know. That's why everybody tuned in today for our. We should have just like a fried chicken off. Oh, that would be great. Just have like fried chicken from all
fried chicken World Cup.
World Cup. Let's have a World Cup of chicken. Oh my God. God damn it. What a great day that would be. We would throw up all over ourselves.
We're wasting our time here with this.
We really are. This is nonsense. What are we thinking? We're experts. Imagine that. Imagine like you go, like you travel, like we could travel all over the world and experience all these different fried chickens. Oh, what the fuck are we doing? Can somebody sponsor us? We could do that, right?
Now you mention it, I would like to say thank you to everyone who has very generously been sending us donations over the past few months. And like I said, the fund for the Joel to buy a new microphone is still open. I'm looking at maybe getting one of these little blue Yeti gimmicks. But we do appreciate everyone who's gone over to redcircle.com/super-j-cast and sent us some money. Please keep it coming. We are never going to put this behind a Patreon. I will say that now, Damon. I'm not paywalling any of this. I'm not ever going to do extra content. It's one episode a week, and it's always going to be free. But it does make it put smiles on our faces when we get that check,
no doubt,
or the PayPal sent every month. So thanks, everybody.
I agree with that 1,000%. Waking up early in the morning and checking your email, and you're like, oh, I got a little email from Joel Abraham. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Joel. I'm sorry. You can edit that. 9:53. Sorry. Joel. I get a nice email from Joel, and it says, "I got cash." That's nice to see. So thank you, everyone. If you're buying a T-shirt, or if you're donating, or if you're helping our sponsors, who then in turn help us, that is always appreciated. And I know, like I said, we try to. We'll never do Patreon because here's the real reason we're too fucking lazy. we're too fucking lazy. Right. This is a struggle enough to do. We're not going to do. Like, I listened to I know who it was. Lanza on Voices, and they're going over the WrestleMania fucking weekend. He's watching 42 shows, and I'm like, we'll have reviews of blah 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 blah. I'm like, my goodness gracious, he is an animal.
How did he do it? And he's got 2 little kids at home.
Yeah,
as well.
Don't you feel lazy? I feel incredibly lazy listening to that show. I feel like, and they broadcast.
It stresses me out.
It really does.
Just trying to put myself in his shoes for a week. The amount of not only wrestling that he has to consume, but the amount of recording that he does based on that, it just blows my mind. I don't know how he does it.
He loves to hear his own voice, right? he just loves to hear his own voice, and cocaine. That's the only 2 things it could possibly be. Because he has more energy than anyone I know. And here's the thing: he has the biggest appetite of anyone I know when it comes to the pro wrestling. Right? He just consumes it, and I can't watch any one thing that much. And here's the thing too: I know he's a big Cincinnati Reds, right? He's a big Cincinnati Reds fan. So he watching baseball season starting, so he's catching all these fucking games. I'm sure. Like, he's just a madman. 2 kids, job. What the fuck? I know, it just makes me feel like so like, not lazy, but just lazy.
No, I don't envy it, and I don't aspire to it. I'm very happy with the amount of content that we produce, but I do sort of look at that in wonder and be like, how. Wow.
Yeah. Well, the one time, like, we did a show like 2 weeks ago, and again, we have this whole fucking thing that we have to do to get a show uploaded. So we record. I download the files after we're done. I send them to Dan. Dan weaves his magic and makes it sound fucking presentable. Then Dan emails it back to me, and then I upload it, and then I have to notify Rich or Joe via text. And I'm so lazy.
And every time that our show is ready and you've uploaded it is usually the second that they've started recording.
They're doing a live broadcast. Like, we don't even do that. Like, they're live on YouTube. And I feel bad because, me and my texting, I felt terrible. So I literally copy and paste the same text to either Rich or Joe.
I like to change it up a bit every week. I can't post the same thing each time, so I'm just looking in the private messages. It's like, Super J-Cast ready, Super J-Cast in the hopper, Super J-Cast good to go, Super J-Cast all set. I can't bring myself to do the same one.
It's the exact same thing. Here it is. I'll give you the exact text every time I send it. It is as follows. Let's go back here. Rich is his gentleman's name that I usually send it to. Well, anyway, so he was Rich is in Alaska. Do you know that?
He's always on a vacation. That is his gimmick.
That is his gimmick. That's what I even said to Joe. yeah, so he gets right back to me. He's like, "Oh, dude, I'm in Alaska. Can you hit up Joe?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm not sure if I have his number," and I did actually. When I put the number in, I was like, there it is. But it's copy paste. It's the same thing, and it just changed the name. So, hey, Joe, in this case, not the Jimi Hendrix song. You could replace this with Rich. It's Damon. ... Just letting you know the new J-Cast has been uploaded. And then I put a little extra. I gave Joe a little extra in this text. Rich is on Craycation or whatever it is. Yeah, Craycation. And then, out of the kindness of his heart, he's a good guy. Joe and I get along very well when we see each other. Not often, but when we see each other. We had a great time in Dallas in that luxury suite for G1. He goes, text back, "Hey, okay, man, got it. How have you been?" I went radio silent.
Well, good on Joe for being polite, right. But I'm sure he's not losing any sleep over you.
I hope not. I hope he's like, what the fuck? He's sitting by his phone. I want to know how he's fucking doing.
Telling his wife, he still hasn't replied.
This motherfucker, they fucking ghost me. I don't want him to think that. So I appreciate it. But anyway, the long and the short of this, Joel, is the fact that those two are workaholics when it comes to, and again, we do one show. They take care of the entire podcasting network that we have, the huge conglomerate of podcasts that we manage. So good on them. Excellent job. We'll stop eating their ass at this point sometime in the show. Joel, where would you like to go today? Because we have plenty to talk about. We have a show that is fucking almost a week old at this point. We can talk about. We have. I saw that you teased a little bit. You did a little tease. I like that. I like when you do that. Where do you want to go? Lead us to the way, oh Capitan.
I think it would be remiss of us not to mention Shinjiro Otani.
Yes.
He had a very unfortunate in-ring mishap in a match. Was it against
Yes.
Sugiura?
Yes, it was.
And yeah, so he's had surgery, I believe, on his spine. Hope that he's doing well. Thoughts, best wishes, Shinjiro Otani. You never like to see that. And, it always shocks me that this kind of stuff doesn't happen more often because it's an incredibly dangerous business, pro wrestling. So it's a minor miracle every time people make it through a match unscathed. So, yeah, this kind of stuff can happen at any time with anyone, regardless of your age or skill level or whatever. So, yeah, all the best wishes to Shinjiro Otani.
Yeah, did you see the match?
I did not. No, I can't bring myself to watch
I
that.
didn't intentionally. And it is somewhat of a weird story. So I was just changing channels and the show was on. And I got called away from the TV to do something. And I just sat down. And I kid you not, the spot was like, I sit down, I look up, and the spot was maybe a minute later. And I didn't see it on Twitter or anywhere beforehand. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was kind of like, I was like, is this an angle? I didn't really comprehend what the fuck was going on. It was like a German suplex, Joel, into the turnbuckle. So it had a long turnbuckle pad. And I'm going to be, again, it didn't look like it was like, it wasn't like a crazy, power bomb from the top rope through 9 tape. No,
it's never the crazy spots that end up with the injuries. Like, I think the Honma injury, that was something innocuous as a draping DDT. It happens.
It does. And again, the bumps that these guys take on just again, and here's the thing: we joke tongue in cheek about guys like Makabe. Oh, how many bumps is he going to take? Whatever. He's already taken too many bumps. For a normal human being, he's taken far too many bumps. And just the idea of it is the stress that it puts on a human being's body is completely unnatural. So yeah, you are right in the sense that I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. But anyway, yes, it was pretty unnerving actually. But I did read he did have surgery, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. He's still not moving. He's not.
Last update, according to the doctors, Otani's surgery yesterday was successful, completing everything they planned to get done. He's transferred hospitals for the next step of the treatment.
Unfucking believable. He's probably what he was. He's got to be at least, 50? Maybe even older than that, right?
Yeah. 49.
Okay. We'll round up. Wow, that's just. And here's the thing.
So really, I should stop making fun of Minoru Suzuki for doing funny face forearm matches because
safe.
That is probably one of the secrets. Is longevity.
It really is. You're not joking, and you're probably right. It's just weird. It's like you go through your entire career, and he's had definitely more, and I'll put in air quotes, dangerous matches. You look at his time all throughout New Japan and in the 90s and All Japan and all those indies that he's worked. Every time we would go over there, he'd be on a show. Wrestle One. It's fucked up, man. It really is. It's again, the only thing we could do is hope for the best. But it's just Takayama. I think of during I don't know. I was going to say, does it feel like it's like wrestlers just have like dice in their hand and, they're constantly rolling the fucking dice? Oh, all right.
Yep. Certainly does. So hope he gets better soon. All right. Let us move on to a bit of interesting news.
Yeah. What do you got?
With regards to the AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door relationship. So from... I think it was last week, AEW Dynamite Rampage will be available to NJPW World viewers in Japan. So that's obviously region locked for people over there in the country. Your initial thoughts on this, please, Damon? Just this, because, obviously Tony Khan has teased a huge announcement, as he does pretty much every week, but we will give our thoughts on that one, our educated guesses, if you will. But yeah, as far as this Dynamite and Rampage being on Worlds, we've got Shingo Takagi doing the commentary. He seems really into it, very excited, watching the segment with Wardlow throwing around all the security guards. He was well into that. So we have some questions for this. Dr. Gary says, do you think AEW being on World Impact strong? There's only so much time in the day. And longer term, could there be a situation where in Japan more folk choose to watch AEW than strong? Or do you think the global audience matters more for strong? So yeah, that's one angle to it. But yeah, just initial thoughts on this deal, Damon. What you think it means in the big picture as well.
It means that AEW is now on a solely owned New Japan Pro Wrestling broadcasting network. And that is not a bad thing. And of course, everyone's heads are spinning and thinking of how this will impact a relationship between the two. And I think you would be a fool to think it would not. It is. Let's put it this way. It's been a slow burn. I think everyone would agree. And again, a lot of the things are out of New Japan's hands and AEW's hands when it comes to how to do this partnership. But know that there is a partnership already in place. It's there. And this is just another step in that direction to help solidify that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really. I mean, there's really nothing else to kind of prognosticate. AEW is being shown on a New Japan Pro Wrestling owned network. That means that there is more to this eventually than what we have now. And that is a great thing.
Yeah, and it's win-win for both companies, isn't it? So AEW going to get some exposure in Japan, and then New Japan gets some great content for their network. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm already thinking about, I mean, obviously these two companies are working closely together and we can expect that to continue. I'm already thinking about AEW bolstering tournaments and tours for New Japan, things like the World Tag League, because this is something that I was a bit hesitant about, back in 2020, 2019, the AEW roster was not what it is now. They've got a tremendous roster there, and they've got people over there who I think would really help beef up some of these tournaments in Japan. Like with the visa situation improving, you can imagine, like, just again taking something like World Tag League as an example, they've already got quite a decent tag division based in Japan. Dangerous Tekkers, Khan on the Cob, Bishamon, Sanada Shingo, whatever. Not to mention babyface God. We got our strong teams over, West Coast Wrecking Crew, maybe Aussie Open, TMDK, Violence Unlimited, Good Brothers, Team Filthy, and then you can add in an AEW team or two. And I don't think Tony Khan is going to send over his very best wrestlers and teams for these tournaments unless they're going to win the whole thing. Like, I don't think we're going to get the Young Bucks or Red Dragon going over there to miss 2 months of TV and go like 4-3. But you could send a team like Top Flight, for example. They could easily take a few losses and no one would bat an eyelid. And I think the key thing here is with 6+ months of presumably a big chunk of New Japan fans in Japan watching AEW, they're going to know who these guys are. Like, one of my reservations were putting in someone from the AEW mid-card in a tournament in Japan. The fans, they will have no idea who they are. But now they have access to AEW program, and they will know who they are and will be able to react accordingly. It's not an insurmountable hurdle by any means. It's never stopped them before. Like, I don't think the office thought Brian Breaker and Leland Race were household names in Japan before they even rang them up for 2016. And, to be fair, if you're good, you're going to get yourself over regardless. But now that shouldn't even be a problem. So I'm just thinking of it in terms of getting exposure for wrestlers to maybe freshen up some of these tournaments, because maybe a bit too early for Best of the Super Juniors. I will be shocked if we get AEW talent going over there for that. But certainly later in the year and henceforth, I think that's something to be thinking about.
Yeah. And you're right. They're not going to. You know what? I can't say they're not going to. I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't know who they would bring over. But logic would dictate that, right, you're not bringing over their top stars to lie down and go, 500 in a tournament, right? That wouldn't just be smart booking. But look, the summer, especially here in the States, we're ready to go. It may not happen in Japan as quickly as we might want. Best of the Super Juniors, G1, but as things improve and situations improved, yeah. I mean, I think it's a definite that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of the red tape that has to be cleared to get guys over there safely and back home safely. That's really the holdup at this point. And how that would look and how that would be presented and who would go over. Because again, keep in mind, even though you would think that for 2 years, at least one company was, having trouble having people in buildings, and there might not. It's still a pro wrestling company, and people still need to get over, and still people still want their guys to go over and not look bad. But trust me, there's a lot of smart people involved, and I think they're going to figure out the creative part, and I don't know. We might right around the corner. We might be in store for some of the best pro wrestling we've seen in quite a while. And, the opportunity is there with the talent that is on both sides. We quite possibly could be in for some of the best that we've been alive for. So, I don't want to put undue pressure on two promotions, but that's what's on the table right now.
I mean, you've been speculating for months and months and months about possible Super Show, and that was the first thing that popped into my head when this was announced. Like, we've got to get a Super Show. I said it like within an hour of the TV announcement. So we have people asking about that. Multiverse says, if an AEW New Japan Super Show were to occur, where in the United States would it need to occur, and what would the top 4 matches need to be to sell out a football stadium? Now,
here we go.
We couldn't possibly comment, Damon. That anything we say would just be pure speculation.
Is it?
So we can't answer that question. So I'm not going to answer that. No discussion about possible super shows. I'm going to completely change the subject here, Damon. Last week, we reminisced fondly about the last time we attended a big New Japan crossover super show with another US promotion. The day that I enjoyed that delicious pastrami sandwich, which was such a highlight for us. So let me ask you this, Damon. Is it time to open the forbidden doors of a new Delhi? And where are we doing business? Because, of course, the first city with the original salty, meaty goodness was New York. But how about the second city to mix up the beef? We can have some of it can be the finest Japan has to offer, that Wagyu good stuff. Some of it, that elite beef from the US, from Tony's Deli. My mouth is watering, Damon. I mean, when do you think my sandwich will be ready? Because, for me, early summer is the perfect time to chow down on this beefy treat. Usually, by the time I've finished watching New Japan Dominion, I'm usually starting to crave a pastrami sandwich.
Well, I got one better for you. How about this? So in the States, we are very proud of our localized specialties, right, throughout. And the Midwest, especially, has lots of fine foods. I mean, Kansas City is very famous for its barbecue. But one thing in particular, I know you're a huge fan of the classic American style hot dog. And one city that I know in the summertime, there's nothing better than a cold beer in the summertime, right? Joel, you would agree with that, right? And a delicious Chicago style hot dog. Oh, they're delicious. Just enjoying the summer sun, say, I don't know, a random day like June 23rd. There might be some delicious hot dogs to enjoy on a nice warm summer's night in Chicago. Again, a random day in June. We'll pick the 23rd. And enjoy a delicious Chicago-style hot dog. How about that?
Sounds delicious, Damon. I'm almost tempted to jump straight into our HelloFresh ad read as a brilliant segue there.
Don't do that right now. I'll do that later. But maybe, look, I know there's a lot of hoops you have to go through. I know there's a lot of things that need to be buckled up at home. I know that there might be some doors that need to be opened, some forbidden doors, I don't know, that might need to be opened for you to get to Chicago, say, I don't know, fucking the 23rd or something like that. But wouldn't that, I mean, I don't know. There's got to be a pro wrestling show somewhere in Chicago on the 23rd, right?
I would think so. I think that would be a wonderful time to have a hot dog and a wrestling show. But just speculating.
We're just
Damon.
speculating.
We don't know anything. We know nothing
Oh
here
shit!
at Super J Cast. We just like hot dogs and pastrami sandwiches and wrestling.
Especially in the summer. Especially in June. Especially in Chicago. Especially with doors being opened. And hot dogs. I don't know how else I can say it. People, put fucking 2 and 2 together here, please. God damn.
Yeah, put 2 and 2 together and go to HelloFresh.
Oh, do that? You want to do the? How about you? You never do the read. Do you want to do the read?
Yeah, I can do the read. But I mean, to be fair, I've never used their products, and I never will.
It's true. You live, do the old chip. All right, I'll do the read. I don't give a shit. I love doing the read because you know why? Not only do I like Chicago-style hot dogs in the middle of the summer, not the middle of summer, beginning of summer, I like HelloFresh. Love the HelloFresh. And HelloFresh has been a staple in my household for about 2 months now, right? Fantastic. The meals that they send us are delicious. I haven't turned my nose up to one of them. They're easy to prepare, and they taste fantastic. And I know you've been thinking about it. You fine listeners of the Super J Cast, now's the time to do it. Damon approved HelloFresh. Well, all you need to do is go to HelloFresh.com/Voices of Wrestling, not Voices of Wrestling, VOW. That's what they're called, right? VOW. VOW 16. Where are you going, Joel? Put in a fucking URL. It's HelloFresh.com/ Is it VOW 16?
I'm looking.
It's VOW 16. Right?
Yeah, I sent the link.
He did. I got it. I just got it.
So HelloFresh.com/VOW16. Use code VOW16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Maybe one of those is going to be a Chicago hot dog.
Who knows, right? Well, maybe it's a forbidden door. I don't know. Hey, HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal. Come on, you know that. Of the same quality, probably better. No, these restaurants aren't doing too well with the quality, but HelloFresh comes through, and you can save on average. Listen to this. Over $65 per month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. That's more money to put toward those other 2020 goals, 2022 goals, like maybe buying pro wrestling tickets to a show in Chicago. Just show up. It might happen. Who knows? HelloFresh, VOW16. Put in that code VOW16, and again, 16 free meals, 3 free gifts. Highly recommended by Damon. Enjoy the HelloFresh quality meals delivered right to your doorstep. Go do it now and tell them Damon sent you and give us money. Thank you.
Okay. So we have some more questions about a possible AEW New Japan Super Show that we just, mindlessly speculated about.
Mindlessly.
But maybe we'll wait and I'll save those questions for next week because I don't know. Maybe there'll be a bit more news in it by the time we record next week. Who knows? Who knows? We just spitballing, Damon. So I'm going to keep those ones. Let's move on to discuss Hyper Battle from Tokyo Ryogoku Kokugikan Sumo Hall. First of all, crowd looked great. I think we're starting to get a lot of the Lapsed fans checking in. I know some people who sort of checked out in New Japan for months, if not years, were now coming back because they like the look of this card, and we're back to Sumo Hall. It felt like a big show.
Yes, it felt like a New Japan Pro Wrestling show that we are all familiar with. And I don't want to say that's the first time in a long time, but every day we take steps getting closer to that feeling, and this is by far has been the closest.
And let's get straight into it then. So our first match was a team of Jado, Tangaloa, Tamatonga, Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Gedo, Yujiro, Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, 10 minutes, 28 seconds. So it was Jado who got the submission win over Gedo with a crossface of Jado. I mean, who'd have thought that in 2022, one of the best stories would be Jado's revenge? And everyone from the crowd to our Discord, to Twitter, were well into this. It was a great little moment. GOD getting genuinely emotional for their official entry into Hontai with their Lion Mark shirts was heartwarming stuff. And this is why I'm really keen and high on this Bullet Club saga. Like, sure, you could have gone straight in with a big Jay White versus Evil angle, but starting with something relatively small, like the GOD expulsion, and over the course of a few weeks and some low-key undercard matches, we've got a really cool payoff with Jado getting his revenge and GOD getting their welcome into Hontai with Tanahashi. So it looks like they're going to take their time with this story and really milk it for satisfying little morsels like this. I thought this was really
you're right. It was a match about T-shirts and minor players getting a little bit of revenge, right? And you're right. They could have just gone straight into it and just little.
Maybe we'll get another match about T-shirts and getting revenge in June. No, I'm just joking.
Look, it's odd to see Hiroshi Tanahashi in an opening match, multi-man tag. It's odd that he wasn't the focal point of the match. I don't want to say it was a night off by any stretch, but there were other things that needed to be accomplished, and he was a small factor in that. And again, I think it was more impactful him after the match, handing over the T-shirts, God putting them on, which did look weird. I'm not going to lie, it did look weird, but it's working. So I mean, we're progressing a storyline we throw around Civil War, and I don't know anything about comics, so please do not at Joel on this. But the one that I do remember reading and really enjoying a lot was that Civil War thing with Captain America and Iron Man and all that shit. I remember reading that in London, England, Joel. And correct me if I'm wrong, they had a lot of like pieces of that story in different superhero comic books all throughout. And that's the feel that I got here. And again, some of that might very well be that we can't bring everybody in, COVID, but it just feels like they're doing it right. And for something to open a show like this, to help connect a little piece of the dot, to help further the story, I don't know. I was digging it, and I didn't think I was going to. I'm digging it.
The second match was Shingo Takagi and Tetsuya Naito defeating Aaron Henare and Will Ospreay at 9 minutes 23 seconds. Shingo pinned Henare after using his secondary move, the Made in Japan. So did not lose to the Last of the Dragons. Kevin Kelly was working really hard to try to spin that as progress for Henare, saying that he didn't lose to the Pumping Bomber. And then Shingo added insult to injury by stealing Henare's sunglasses and mocking him. Damon, could you twist yourself into a pretzel to make this anything other than a huge L for your boy Henare?
Yeah, listen. Well, look, I don't want to say that we kind of felt that, he was the guy that was going to lie down in this match, but, I think you're just waiting for the moment. You're just waiting for the moment. I feel like he's done everything he possibly can. Like, he looks good. He looks good in the ring. The gimmick looks good. He's in a faction that, can be red hot. I don't want him to be a bit player in it. He's like, it's just baby steps with Henare. I guess we just got to be patient, right? We just have to be patient, and it's happening. But yeah, in that match, I mean, who's going to lie down in that match besides him? Right? It's got to be him.
Third match was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Championship match with the 69th champions, 6 or 9. Master Wato, Ryusuke Taguchi successfully completed their first defense against El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. So Taguchi got the win over ELP with the Samson clutch. Well, the one thing that stood out to me was ELP just walking around shouting "shitty balls, shit balls" at the start of the match. So good content, well done. We had the Sendai Sailor Boys callbacks, of course, between Taguchi and Ishimori. Lots of ha-has in this match. We had Taguchi's iron bum, the back rakes. I did enjoy the spot where they cropped Taguchi on Wato's head. I thought the retching was a bit insensitive. Could have been avoided if Taguchi had used the products from our friends over at Manscaped, at manscaped.com. Take it away, Tim. They don't sponsor us anymore. I had felt up until this point that 6 or 9 still had the whiff of 2 singles wrestlers. But here, they definitely stepped up. They'd improved their synergy. There were some really creative team spots. I thought the closing sequence with a pinning exchange between ELP and Taguchi was even better. And a nice bit of a bum fun, bit of analingus action at the end. A finish as old as time. Damon. Taguchi obviously had been studying his Memphis tapes where wrestlers would famously pull their pants down and spread their near-naked buttocks over their opponent's faces. Well,
listen, you're going back. Some people like to go back to Carl Gotch and Billy Robinson. Others, take a different route. Yes, he loves to show off his butt. And why not? Why not? I'll tell you why not. I don't know what to say. Can I talk about Master Wato for a second? He's a guy that usually is on the back end of our witty jabs, but am I digging him in this tag team? I think this is a good role for him. I think this is a good confidence building role for him. I like
We said this, Dave. We said this like over a year ago. Put him together with Taguchi, let him grow his confidence in a tag team, and it's exactly what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening. And we're hiding some of his flaws. We're hiding a lot of his flaws. We're giving him like room to breathe. He can kind of grow into his gimmick a little bit more and not be solely relied on to carry a match or be, or to be Master Wato when, again, we've been saying it's a square peg round hole kind of feeling with this guy in this gimmick. But this is working, and this is what was needed, and he can grow from this and see what he could do to take the next step. But for right now, this feels like a much better Master Wato than what we were kind of force-fed before.
Agreed. One of my low-key favourite things about this team are the backstage promos, which is, that's one of Wato's weaknesses. He's not a great promo, but his sort of babyface, earnest, very simplistic promos, counterbalanced against Taguchi's nonsense, is usually quite funny and charming. Like, after the match, I think it was Kanemaru and Doki attacked Taguchi and Wato and saying, "We're your next challengers." And then Taguchi's going, "Oh, what does this mean? Who will our next challengers be? Surely it can't be Nakashima and Ryohei Oiwa because they're young lions. What does this mean? I don't understand." And I thought that was very funny against Wato just playing it completely straight. So the backstage promos are always entertaining with the pair of them. So our fourth match was the KOPW. Oh, did you have
No. It's just agreeing. Yep, just agreeing.
Fourth match, KOPW 2022 Championship match, the no-rope ring-out match where Taichi, the challenger, was victorious against the holder, Toriano. 4 minutes, 18 seconds by ring-out. Taichi is the new provisional KOPW 2022 holder. We called it last week, said this would be less than 5 minutes, and it was. I really like this. I like Taichi's robe. He had his special sumo robe. Brought his own sumo zabuton cushion, sitting on the floor outside the ring. The same style that the Rikishi do during a sumo basho. It's the attention to detail. You could really tell Taichi was enjoying this. And God bless Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton filling in that time while the ring crew took forever to take the ropes off by digging deep into the psychology of this nonsense KOPW. But Taichi was right in saying that doing a pastiche of a sumo match in Ryogoku of all places would have been incredibly disrespectful. So we have more of a wrestling gimmick match with little loving nods to sumo. The most authentic probably being the ref eating shit and getting yeeted out of the ring. There was an incredible bump by Kenta Sato, so well done to him. And also we got a classic Mawashi belt battle, and the finish, oh my goodness, what a pop. It might be the loudest since the pandemic started, to be honest, when Taichi finally managed to get the win. And Taichi did the iconic Hakuho celebration at the end with a big fist pump. And I thought this was great. By far the most enjoyable KOPW match so far. Taichi called out Shingo in a really entertaining backstage segment. Taichi was suggesting that they bring New Japan back to Ganryujima Islands. And he's telling everyone, be excited. So some questions about this. Flynn says, please spend some time showing reverence to our Holy Emperor for trying to make the KOPW worth watching. Should they just get rid of the stupid trophy now and present something at the end of the year? And Slurm316 says, am I wrong to have enjoyed the super match at Hyper Battle as much as I did? Damon, did you enjoy it? And are you excited about this upcoming Taichi reign?
Yes. I mean, it's much better than the normal Yano nonsense that we've been subjected to. I loved it because, to me, it was Taichi, obviously being very much a fan of sumo, kind of writing a little bit of a love letter, that this whole match was, with little references. And if you're a fan of sumo, well, like you are and other listeners of ours are, you kind of got a lot of those little nods and little tips of the cap when it comes to the sumo. So I think I enjoyed it in that sense. I liked it. It was short. Like, there's no way this could have gone more than 10, right? And let's be honest, there's no way we should have gone more than 7, and it didn't. What was packed in it, I thought was entertaining. I think the fans dug it. As you said, the pop was maybe one of the loudest that we've heard COVID era. I'm going to be very truthful. I don't know what there was not to like about it. Like, it wasn't nonsense. It was still nonsense in the sense of, okay, you didn't get a pro wrestling match, but you really did. You probably got more of a pro wrestling match here than, if you think about it, just in any other match. Like, this was, This was everything that is good about pro wrestling and not worked as a pro wrestling match, if that makes any sense. Like this hybrid. Again, it wasn't sumo. He didn't want to disrespect it in the hallowed halls, but in the same breath, again, this was a fan kind of. I don't want to say living out a little bit of a dream, but that's the way I felt with it, with everything that was done for this match. And again, I feel like this was his doing. Like this was his ideas. I'm going to do this. I want this. I want this to be here. Like he's doing this. He might have had help, and he might have had other people say and what to do, and But to me, this felt like a love letter to a sport that this guy really likes, and I thought that was pretty cool.
What a world we live in where Damon is excited about Tai Chi having a reign with a comedy mid-card title and saying this is everything that is great about pro wrestling.
It really was. But if you think about it, it really is. It really is everything that we love about pro wrestling. Like, it was silly, but not silly. It was
earnest at the end, wasn't it? Like, it felt like a moment when he won, and the crowd treated it as such.
As you're right, as crazy as it sounds, yes, it felt like it was. It was. I think they made the most out of a situation, and the situation being the KOPW situation in general. Like, to me, this was one of the most enjoyable moments from that division. Name me another one that was better than that. You'd be hard pressed. Like it felt good. Like when it was done, you felt good. You kind of was like, all right, that was good. That was good. All right.
Okay, then they announced we have our G1 Climax dates set. Interesting thing here, Damon, we've got 20 nights instead of 19. So it's been a lot of speculation about what that could mean. Maybe expanded blocks, like could we have 2 blocks of 11 and 2 nights where both blocks are in action? Any initial thoughts on this? What you think this 20 nights could be, or is it just too early to tell? It could be anything, really, couldn't it?
It could be anything, but if we're going with 50th anniversary, bigger, better, let's squeeze 10 pounds of shit in a fucking 5-pound bag. To me, it sounds like more people, right? I mean, we're adding a whole night. That seems to me that more not. Well, how are we going to fill that? That means more people, right? Doesn't it?
I think so. If you put a gun to my head, I would say expanded blocks and a couple, at least, of double block nights. So, I'm very much looking forward to G1 Climax. I think it's safe to say, we don't know who's going to be in it, but I think it will be a much refreshed lineup. Last year we were sitting around, on a Super J-Class Discord trying to get 20 names together. Like, it was a struggle finding 20 names of guys based in Japan or who had pre-existing visas who were willing and able to travel to try and fill out that block, both of those blocks. But now I think we're going to have something a bit more fresh, a bit more exciting to look forward to.
And here's the thing, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but and also, again, we're all sitting here with a boner over, possibilities with AEW. They still have a relationship with other promotions in Japan that, maybe we can tap that a little bit, right? I mean, we... Noah, All Japan. I mean, I can't say they're not on the table at this point, right? I mean, the possibility of it, right? I'm sure they have a plan A and a plan B. Let's put it that way.
Okay, then we had a segment where Sanada came out and vacated the US title due to his orbital injury, and then Will Ospreay came out. What I thought was a pretty good promo, actually. I know people would seem to despise his promos. And then Tanahashi came and told him to shut up in English, which was great. Challenged him for the vacant title at the Fukuoka Dome. Pretty
good, right? That should be a pretty great match. I don't know. I don't really. He reminds me of Jake. Is it Jake Paul? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? That's who Ospreay reminds me of. He reminds me of that. I thought the promo was okay. I'll tell you who looked good. Sonata looked good. Like for a guy who's on the shelf with an iron and a cracked orbital bone, guy looks sharp. I think he always fucking does.
He always looks sharp. The clean shaven thing really suits him, I think.
I agree. The Billy Goat thing, who cares? Yeah. So we got a vacant U.S. title, and Will and Tana. That's
and a built-in program for Sonata when he returns.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Good stuff.
Yep, not bad at all.
All right, fifth match was the Never Championship match with Evil successfully defending against Hiromu Takahashi, 15 minutes, 47 seconds. I liked that Hiromu was wearing his special black Evil trousers with Evil written all over them. And I enjoyed the start of this. He was baiting Dick Togo. It was like he came in with a really smart game plan with the shotgun drop kicks. And they were foiling Dick Togo spots peppered throughout the match, which was really fun. Like when he powerbombed Evil from the apron onto Togo. And that's what I like to see. We don't want to see, even if Evil is going to win, we don't want to see the babyface
look like a boob
suffering at the hands of the exact same spots every single time from Dick Togo. So I like that they mixed it up here. One day, Yuto Nakashima is going to attack Hiromu, and it will be because of that drop kick, when he pushed Nakashima in the way. And I think these two have got really good chemistry together. I think Hiromu's a good babyface underdog. He's fiery. He sells the hatred and the betrayal well. He really gets the crowd into the comeback spots. And I did mention before the New Japan Cup match that I thought this feud would be one where Hiromu really has to struggle to earn the big win. So I was a bit surprised he got the New Japan Cup win, but I think in the unofficial New Japan hierarchy of wins, a tournament win is worth less than a singles title win. So it made sense that he couldn't get the job done here when the belt was on the line. And I really like the finish with Hiromu powering through the impacts with the turnbuckle rings, but he ran straight into the Evil STO. And it was a great bump from Hiromu. Like, you can tell these guys like each other and respect each other. They bump for each other. They make each other look good. He just fucking ragdolled for this. And I think it continues the trend for Evil's steady improvement in 2022. I thought this wasn't quite as hot as the Cup match, but it was really interesting. I found it entertaining. I thought the spots were creative. It was paced well. And Evil is still good. It is official. And then we had some teasers at the end with GOD against Yuja and Evil. And people are really into this babyface GOD, I'll tell you this. But yeah, what did you think of Hiromu against Evil?
I loved it. I really did. I really liked the match a lot. Hiromu, he had his working shoes on, bumping everywhere. Big offense. And you're right. Evil's had a sneaky, silent, nothing that's not going to blow your pants off, but it's a much better year if you're looking at it with a critical eye than previous. The match was good. Yes, was there interference? Of course, right? Was Dick Togo involved? Of course. That's fine. If that's it. Again, it's okay when it's done properly, and I thought it was. You are right in the sense of tournament wins are ranked less than singles matches. I don't know, man. They got me. I really thought he was going to win. I really did. There were a couple moments where I'm just like, oh, I thought that was it.
The General Insurance presents Shower Ballads by Shaq.
And I'm gonna keep on loving you, 'cause it's the only thing I wanna do.
Turns out, everyone does sound better in the shower. And it turns out, The General is a quality insurance company that's been saving people money for nearly 60 years.
I just wanna keep on loving you.
For a great low rate and nearly 60 years of quality coverage, make the right call and go with the General.
The General Auto Insurance Services, Inc., Insurance Agency, Nashville, Tennessee. Some restrictions apply.
And that's what pro wrestling is for. That's what it does. Gives you those little, that's why they call them hope spots. I will say this. I think Hiromu, of all of Los Ingobernables, has taken this Evil thing and made it more about him as opposed to the group. And that's kind of surprising. If you told me, like, when Evil turned, like, Evil's going to wrestle Naito, Evil's going to wrestle Shingo, Evil's going to wrestle, I don't know, fucking Bushi. Probably not, but you get my point. But it's Hiromu. And I think there is something to be said about that respect that they both have. They both went up through the ranks together, etc. That's there. That's that little That's those little breadcrumbs that New Japan feeds you. And the fact that he seems to want to defend the honor of Los Ingobernables more than all the others. Sonata, you know what I mean? Like he has taken it personally, and taken on that responsibility personally. I like that a lot. So, yeah, like I said, I thought it was going to be a win. And even though I predicted Evil would win, there were plenty of times where it was like, oh, come on, have the balls to fucking do it. And, it is what it is. But, yeah, it makes sense.
Yes, I think Evil owes a lot to Hiromu in helping get his heel turn over and get the feud over. I think if you take away all the Hiromu interactions from this Evil heel turn, then we're not left with a great deal. So he should be taking him out for dinner, as I'm sure he will. But let's move on to the sixth match, which was the IWGP Tag Championship match, where Khan on the Cobb, Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb defeated the champions Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. So Cobb pinned Yoshihashi after 16 minutes and 5 seconds with the Tour of the Island. So Cobb and O'Khan are the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. I was a little bit unsure, actually, at the start when Great-O-Khan, all hail, started bringing his police commendation to the ring. But then I realised it was genius, because he's like one of those people who take Instagram selfie videos of them giving money to homeless people. Or, that kid who did the TikTok video singing in front of his dying grandparent in the hospital. So he's just going to look and be obnoxious about it. And I thought this is a fantastic touch, because we were worried, like, is it going to turn him babyface? No, it's not. But he's a sort of you love to hate him kind of guy. I loved him doing the honourable handshake at the start, just really milking it to the point where, it got a bit awkward. I thought that was brilliant. I think he's such a great performer, Great-O-Khan, all hail. And Bishamon, I thought they worked really hard here as well. They worked on some new tag moves. Chris Charlton brought it up a good point about them not needing to audibly coordinate their spots anymore. And I think my favourite parts of the match were some of the Great-O-Khan all hail versus Goto exchanges. I thought they had good chemistry. And of course, we all enjoyed the Cobb Yoshihashi New Japan Cup match. So we know that they're good together. And they kept some of the little stories going from that, like with Yoshihashi going after Cobb's knee again. He's not able to lift Cobb by himself, as happened in the Cup match, but he was able to do it with a boost from Goto here. But I thought Khan on the Cobb put together a really cool finishing sequence here that I watched several times. I really enjoyed this with Khan, all hail, not being able to hit the Eliminator on Yoshihashi by himself. So he bounced him off Cobb's forearm back into the Eliminator. That looked really devastating. And I really like how Cobb and O'Khan, all hail, were screaming instructions at each other towards the end as Goto's usual rope running got counted into the Imperial Drop. It was a very cool sequence. The crowd audibly popped for that. And there was a big gasp just for the setup to the Tour of the Islands. Before it even got halfway through the rotation, the crowd were really into that. And I'm delighted to see them win the belts. I'm delighted that O'Khan, all hail, gets his first win, his first title win in the company. And I think they really hit their stride here. They tapped into a nice dynamic, basically just throwing their opponents into each other's power moves, which sounds simple, but looks great. And the crowd loved it. It's awesome to have these powerhouse heel bullies as tag champions. They're not going to break the rules. They're just going to pick your ass up and throw you on the ground like a sack of potatoes. It is good shit. And obviously, I can't understand Japanese, but it feels like Great-O-Khan, all hail, is one of the best promos in the company right now. Like, you just feel that he owns this gimmick, this character. He just jumps right off the fucking screen in everything he does. One of my favourite guys to watch right now, seeing him swaggering out to the back with his little towel and his certificate and his stupid hat, ordering the crowd to clap him louder. It was so good. Just a pair of them gloating like massive arseholes afterwards. It's incredibly fun. I think it's the best tag match you've had in the company for a long time. And the icing on the cake was Great-O-Khan, all hell, asking Goto, "Are you crying? Do you want a pancake?" After the match, a little throwback to the story about him offering the girl pancakes after he'd rescued her. So I love this. I thought this was fantastic.
Yeah, top to bottom. I agree. I love this tag team a lot. I really do. Like, they are, to me, they are a throwback tag team. Back in the day with your Vaders and Bigelow and Steiners and Hercules Hernandez and Scott Norton, the Jurassic Power, like, it feels like they're cut from that mold, and that I definitely get into a lot. And you're right, they're not going to cheat their way. They're going to throw your ass through the fucking ring. They're going to toss you, which is great. I mean, it's fantastic. I think, and again, we sit here and we do throw praise at Cobb and O'Khan. I'm supposed to hail. What am I supposed to do? All hail. I think there's credit that needs to be given to Goto and Yoshihashi, who were really, really good in this match, I thought. And were a really solid tag team. And still are, because they get a rematch, right? There's a rematch right around the corner, so that should be great again. Yeah, I think they deserve a little tip of the cap too, because this match was really good. I don't know. I just get really excited thinking about the possibilities with them holding the titles, hopefully for a decent run. I wanted them to win the titles before. Like I just think that they are one of those tag teams that visually look like that's what I want to have a fucking tag team. Like they just look the part that I really like. And you're right, with the gimmick and the certificate and him milking it for all it's worth. It is pretty great. It is pretty great. So yeah, they are one of my favorites, especially when it comes to the tag team wrestling. Love them.
Yeah, I think O'Connor's just got a great mind for the business. Like, I wonder if he was thinking when he got that certificate from the police, like when that story came out, like, fuck, I'm supposed to be a heel. How am I going to spin this and make it work for me as a heel? And he's done it, like, it's almost effortlessly. Yeah. It's just so good. He's just he gets it. He gets pro wrestling.
Yes, 1,000%. And I'll go so far as to say this: like that's a blue chipper right there. Like he's a blue chipper. Like he's better than I ever expected him to be. Better than I thought there was a definite ceiling to the gimmick. He's surpassed the gimmick, right? Like he's blown past the gimmick, right?
100%. I mean, you just see it looking at the crowd, people dressing up as him, the cosplays, the fan art on Twitter. Yep.
He like that gimmick could have been an absolute fucking handcuff, a straitjacket. He has not only like when we talk about Watto not fitting into the gimmick and feeling like it's just an awkward thing, the opposite of that is O'Khan. Like he has not only taken this gimmick and this idea, and he has made it his own in arguably a very short amount of time. Very short amount of time. Like people take years to really become a gimmick. You know what I mean? Like to give you a terrible example, I mean, look at like the Undertaker. Like you're going to compare the Undertaker, like his first 3 years to his next 3 years to his next 3 years? Like you see how a guy progresses and becomes it. He's becoming it. It's pretty amazing, actually. And I think that's the hardest part in pro wrestling. The hardest part in pro wrestling is doing what he's doing. Like it's not always the great shit that you see in the ring, the maneuvers. That's not always it. It helps. It's what he's doing is the hardest part about pro wrestling. Making a connection and making a gimmick your own. That's the hard part. He's fucking doing it. Unbelievable. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I mean, there's people out there who are not fans and they're going to dig their heels in with O'Khan and about evil, but don't sleep on these guys. I think 2022 is going to be a big year for both of these guys. Let's move on then to the seventh match, which was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with El Desperado successfully defending against the challenger SHO in 20 minutes 33 seconds with Pinche Loco. Look, Damon, as soon as SHO stepped out from behind the curtain, I started laughing. And maybe that's not the intended reaction, but the whole package, like the silly emo fringe covering his face, his silly faces, his silly Tekken hoodie, his silly little wrench, his silly interviews where he accuses his opponents of cheating. I couldn't help chuckling at this weird little man and the bizarre heel gimmick persona. There's just something inherently farcical about SHO that's kind of entertaining. I'm not saying that I've completely turned the corner of him, and I'm not in the ironically enjoying him camp yet, but I just want to go on the record and say that he is making me laugh, and I thought this match was really good. We're going to put that in the bank for now. That chair spot at the start, like some of you might have got uncomfortable flashbacks to Royal Rumble 2001, that ladder match between two Canadian Chris's. That's what it reminded me of. And in a vacuum, the spot looked and sounded terrific, but it carries a lot of historical baggage that made me tuck my collar and go, oh. But putting that to one side, this match had a real nasty and vindictive feel to it because they're basically both assholes. We just happen to like one of them. And Despy took some wild bumps here, like the one with his ribs on the guardrail was nuts. So you could see from very early on that Despy was working overtime to make SHO look like a fucking killer. And he did some wild shit in this match in such a way that it made me think that he was losing. It made me think this is a guy who's going to be taking some time off after this. Like, it was like I was watching Docky. He sold his left arm really well. He always sells his limbs well. Despy's one of the best sellers in the company. He could sell a Manscaped product to a Super J class listener. We certainly fucking could. And a moment of appreciation for SHO selling his injured throat like he was an extra from Michael Jackson's Thriller. It was so funny. I don't know. He's entertaining me a lot. But the match itself, there's a really good intensity to it. Some really nice bitey striking exchanges. SHO displayed a killer instinct and a ruthlessness that I hadn't seen in him before. He looked dominant here, and I'm going to throw flowers at both he and Despy for that because they both played their part. He didn't even need to do the ref bump and low blow wrench spot, but it didn't amount to anything, and they went back to having a great match. But the submission near fall with a snake bite was great. Despy sold that brilliantly because I thought he was out, and they don't usually do the comeback spots that often. It seems like the 50-50 shot these days in New Japan, whether the opponent's just going to be unconscious and the ref calls it off. So I was actually, I thought all the signs were pointing to SHO winning, so I was genuinely surprised that Despy won. And dare I say it, a little bit disappointed because I thought SHO was vastly improved here. I thought this is his best outing since the heel turn. And as they were discussing possible next challenges for Despy, I was praying for El Lindemann to come out, Damon. I was heartbroken when Taiji Ishimori came out. He was the last person I wanted to challenge. And then we got the Francesco Akira appearance, which was a little bit odd. We'll talk about that afterwards, but first of all, please give me your thoughts on Despy versus SHO.
Look, I think SHO is... When SHO doesn't do the... Like, I know that you're at the point where it makes you giggle. Like, it just really turns me the other way. Like, I just... I'm not at the point of irony yet. Like, I'm still at the point of, why are you doing this? It's because in the same breath, you're having a match that like is kind of like your strong point. Like, why would you do things that obviously aren't your strengths with here's an example of a guy who just, it doesn't work. Like, this is not the role for him. And it is painful to watch. Yet he goes in the ring and he does things that we know he can do. We know the talent that he has. He just loses me. I was praying that he wouldn't win, so that I wouldn't have to see it again and again and again and have people think that, oh, this is working. It's not. It's pretty cringy, for lack of a better word. Despy was great. Despy might be the most underrated guy in the fucking promotion. Like, I feel like he can wear so many hats. And it's very comforting to know that you don't always have to rely on Hiromu for the juniors. Like, I think that's the one thing that we can take out of that, like this run for Despy, is that it's not like he had this great moment and it was, okay, red hot, and then it cooled off considerably with him on other defenses. And the energy was really Hiromu and the idea of those two guys together. It's not. Like, he's able to do it himself. And he's able to, dare I say, be a leader in that junior division. Which, again, things could get very stale if it was just Hiromu. And again, we've had Robbie Eagles, and we've had Ishimori, and we've had Watto in the mix at certain points. But to me, like, head and shoulders, like, to be able to rely on a guy to while Hiromu's kind of getting his feet wet with the heavies and kind of getting everybody mentally prepared for that move, which it feels like is eventual. Despy's been the fucking rock of that division. And when you desperately needed it, he's he's a stud. He is an undervalued commodity that New Japan Pro Wrestling has that I don't think he gets enough love for. I mean, outside of the Super JK circle.
Yeah, agreed. I think he's been given the ball, he's taken it, and he's absolutely run with it. To me, he feels like a big deal now. He doesn't feel like a mid-carder. He feels like dare I say, a star. He feels like a top guy in the junior division. So well done to him for absolutely making the most of that deserved opportunity. After the match, we had Bruciare, Francesco Akira, making his appearance. It was not the best debut segment in the world. It felt a little bit awkward and confused that the lighter wasn't really working properly, and then you couldn't really hear what he was saying, and he didn't introduce himself. I don't think he even said his name, and the commentary didn't really get that across, and he just walked out the ring afterwards, and Despy and Ishimori just looked a bit nonplussed and just continued their conversation. And his backstage promo afterwards, he looked quite nervous. I don't know. I mean, the presentation of this and the in-ring quality of Francesco Akira are two very different things. But this one did make me a bit nervous.
I don't know if it wasn't a good segment. I think no one would think that it was. But that doesn't concern me because we've seen that many times, right? How many times have we seen that awkward transition from a guy that, people might not be too familiar with hitting a ring or... we even saw it with Despy to a certain degree. Remember when Despy debuted? Was it Ibushi in the ring and the flowers and like everybody was kind of just like, okay, here's a guy, and I'm not really kind of getting what was going on. I'll get better. I mean, that's New Japan's job to get him over, right? And it's his job too. Yeah. It wasn't a great segment, but that doesn't. I don't think that's going to. I mean, it wasn't Master Wato-esque. You know what I mean? It wasn't that bad, but all right, it'll get better. Trust me.
Yeah, he didn't get beaten up by Donkey on his debut appearance. So we'll give him that. He's winning so far. So yeah, we'll see Francesco Akira in Best of the Super Juniors, which I'm quite looking forward to. I mean, it did make me wonder why do that segment here if he's not going to be appearing until Best of the Super Juniors. But whatever, not a great debut segment, but we'll wait and see when he makes his in-ring appearance. So let's move on then to the main event, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match with Kazuchika Okada successfully defending against the New Japan Cup winner, Zack Sabre Jr. in 28 minutes, 25 seconds with the Rainmaker. Now, God bless our Discord. I think it's mainly Andrew from our Discord, actually, who managed to convince pretty much everyone in there that not only was Zack winning, but Shibata was going to challenge him afterwards. And that was going to be the main event at Don Taco in the Dome, Zack versus Shibata for the title. So I have to admit, when I saw Shibata come out for commentary, I was a bit like, oh, hello, what's going on here then? Yeah. So prior to that, I thought Zack had no chance of winning. And then that happened. I was like, okay, maybe he's got like a 1% chance of winning. And then I'm not putting Manabu on blast here, but I got a line message from him, which I just glanced at quickly, and I just saw the word Zack Sabre Jr. winning and 1%. And I just put my phone down because I was like, I don't want to see what that was because I haven't watched the match yet. But sometimes if you see a spoiler and your mind starts sort of trying to twist it. Yes, yeah. So then I was thinking, well, what could that mean? Maybe that he thought Zack only had a 1% chance of winning and he did win or he didn't win. I don't know what this means. So I had a bit of intrigue now going into it. So they had the usual early feeling out period. It really kicked up a notch when Zack went for the armbar on the ring apron. He really fired up there. That was a little signifier that Zack meant business here. He had a lot of the crowd on his side, actually. They got me with a submission near fall. He had all of Okada's limbs tied up to the point at which I couldn't see how Okada was going to escape.
His tongue.
I thought that was a really...
He's sticking his tongue
yeah.
over the ropes, I know.
There was a fantastic moment on the outside where Zack was slapping the taste out of Okada's mouth and then gets a tombstone on the mat. That Zack driver near fall was really great. He just did it so fluidly and quickly. It came out of nowhere. He pinned straight away. And that's the beauty of these tournament finals where you can play off of the moves that put everyone else away. We had Zack really laying the strikes in hard. The closing exchange of near falls was brilliant. It was smooth as silk. We added a little fuck you with a Fujiwara armbar. And then, Zack trying to use the same finishing sequence that put away Naito, but this time Okada was able to reverse the Zack driver into the set-up tombstone to set up the win. Really, really great match. I I bet on some of the near falls, I've got to say. There were moments where I thought, oh, Zack's done it. That submission spot and the first Zack driver spot, it had me thinking that an upset was on the cards. What did you think of it?
Loved it. I really did love it. And I'll tell you what these two guys did that was so special. And I haven't seen it in quite a while. And I think these two guys are maybe one of the best at it. They are perfectionists and experts at taking you up on the roller coaster and then dropping you down and then bringing you back up and then dropping you back down and bringing you back up and dropping you back down. Like, they take you on a ride in a match better than I don't want to say just about anybody, because Tanahashi and Okada could really fucking do that. But it wasn't like this match was not balls to the wall, step on the gas as hard as you can and go, 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 go. It wasn't that. It was go, 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 go. Okay, lit up. Let's take a break. We'll go back, build, big spots, bring you back down. Big build, bring you back down. Like, they did that so well in this match. And I hadn't seen it for what feels like a long time. This match felt like a throwback match to me. This was an old school style match to me, with modern spice. Like, it was Barry Windham, Ric Flair. It was, it felt very rooted in old school main events with modern flair. That's the best way I could describe the ride that I was on. And I really loved it. Really loved it. Zack, again, is just so creative on the ground and just locking limbs and hooking limbs and just doing things with, just bending wrists and bending fingers and bending ankles that makes such sense in the moment. And the way that he, I don't know, sells what he's doing in the sense of, oh, I got an opening. Like, his eyes light up, when he sees an opening and he hooks an arm. Like, I just love that. And Okada's just fucking great. So good. Like, and here's the thing, too, that we haven't mentioned. He no longer looks like a fucking cup of soup, right? He's wearing that history of New Japan robe that looks fantastic. Like, he looks like a fucking guy who's been there and done that, and fuck you. Like, I love that. Great match, man. Top to bottom, this show, it's going to be in the running for one of the best shows of the year, right? I mean, to me, this was...
Yeah, no filler, was it?
No filler.
Like, every single match had something good in it.
Yep. I like, top to bottom, this might have... To me, top to bottom, this was the most enjoyable New Japan show in... I think it was better than Dome shows. I really do. I think top to bottom, it was really a real New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And we're just that fucking close, Joel, to masks off, crowd yelling. We're that close. It's right around the corner. And it felt good to finally be like, turn off that show and be like, yep, that was a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. That's what we've been waiting for.
So coming up next, we have Golden Fight Series, which begins this Monday. We've got shows in Nagoya. We've got two in Korakuen Hall. We've got one in the Edion Arena, one in Ehime, Kochi. The first one that I think is actually the only one on this tour I think that's worth speaking about is the one on Monday, April 25th, which we'll preview next week. But this is one in Hiroshima Sun Plaza Hall. Oh, actually, I should mention, for a lot of those shows that I've mentioned, Yo is it's mainly tag main events, a lot of elimination match main events, but Yo is featured in a lot of these main events. So it might be something to keep an eye on if we're thinking future junior challengers or someone who might get a bit of shine during Best of the Super Juniors. But yeah, this show on Monday, April 25th in Hiroshima Sun Plaza Hall. The two top matches, we have the Never Openweight Six-Man Tag Team Championships with Evil, SHO and Yujiro defending against Tanahashi and Gorillas of Destiny. And the main event for that one is the KOPW 2022, where Taichi will be defending against Shingo. I don't know if there's been any word on stipulations yet. I guess that will come to the fore during some of these shows leading up to that. And then we'll also have our card for Wrestling Dontaku in the Fukuoka Dome. This is Sunday, May the 1st. So our first match is Tatsumi Fujinami, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromu against Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, and Taka Michinoku. So we're seeing Fujinami back. Second match, we have a special singles match, Tangaloa versus Yujiro. Third match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships with Taguchi and Wato defending against Kanemaru and Doki. Fourth match is an IWGP Tag Team Championship three-way match between Jeff Cobb and Okan defending against Yoshihashi and Goto, and Farley and Chase Owens. Fifth match, Never Openweight Championship match, Evil defending against Tamatonga. Sixth match, Junior Heavyweight Championship, El Desperado defending against Ishimori. Seventh match is the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship with Tanahashi and Ospreay contending for the vacant title. And main event, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Okada defending against Naito. So what do you think of that, Dontaku?
Pretty sexy, right? I don't think that's a nice lineup, don't you think? I'll tell you what's funny. You mentioning Tatsumi Fujinami, he's wrestled on more New Japan shows than the full-time Shibata, hasn't he? What?
Yeah, where is Shibata?
Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to all that? I'm coming back as a full-time wrestler. Are you? Oh, we're gonna have a full match. Oh no, we're not. Okay, yes we are. What's going on there? Hasn't wrestled. He hasn't wrestled since the Dome, right? I don't think I'm wrong in that, right? That's it.
Correct.
Yeah, Tatsumi Fujinami has wrestled in more New Japan Pro Wrestling matches than Shibata.
I mean, I don't have a problem with him keeping it to special events and special occasions.
Okay, but don't
just give us something. Just talk to us.
Yeah, don't tickle our ass with a feather here, New Japan, and be like, "Oh, the return of Shibata. I'm coming back." Oh, are you? Okay. Doesn't really feel like you're back. I haven't seen you in a while. And again, commentary doesn't count, I don't think. Because if that were the case, Liger's back. Yeah, I mean, just not for nothing. It just that whole scenario kind of feels like we were pro wrestled a little bit, doesn't it? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Were we sold a bill of goods there?
Ask me again at the end of the year. Well, okay, let me ask you this then.
It's April, middle of April.
How many more Shibata matches do you think we'll get this calendar year?
One.
And have you got a particular event or occasion in mind for that?
Maybe like G1 finals or Dome, right? Well, let's put it this way: if everything is churning out the way that things seem to be churning out, why would you bring him back? With all that's
you save it until proper crowds.
Proper crowds. I'm saying, A, we're going to have proper crowds. B, we're going to have more talent than we know what to do with in months, in weeks. Do we need to risk having Shibata back? Who's, let's be very clear, it does not feel like he is at 100%. Or should I say, he is not 100% a full-time pro wrestler. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, and I thought it would be something for special occasions.
Then say it.
But Fukuoka Dome, I thought that's a pretty big occasion. If they're not using him for the Dome, then I don't know.
That's true too. Right? That's a big building, you would think. Look, I'm not mad at him by any stretch of the imagination. I want to be clear on that. It's not him. I feel like the promotion of this was sketch at minimum. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of goodwill that was little rattled with this whole Shibata thing. I think, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, but to me, this feels like a little bit like we're trying to get some interest for a Dome show. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we go back to this card for Dontaku. I think it's a really good card. Again, I like the fact that we have got 8 matches here, and None of them, with the exception of the Tangaloa Yujiro singles match. That's the only one where I'm like, what are we doing here, lads? But everything else, it's slightly less interesting than the Hyper Battle card. I think the challenges are a bit less interesting. And of course, we'll do a full preview of this near the time. But just stuff off the top of my head that I'm looking forward to. Tamatonga against Evil. I think that's going to be really good. I think don't sleep on that one. And
Naito Okada's going to be great.
Yeah. It'll be good. I don't think there's any way I'm going to get to the end of the show and be like, well, that was disappointing. This is got 7 to 8 out of 10 New Japan show written all over it. I think it will be really good.
Tanahashi and Ospreay is going to be pretty great. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good show. And, I mean, there's not going to be any...
Something exciting here.
What's that?
There's something exciting here. Andrew wants me to ask you how you feel about Liger's son making his New Japan debut at Dontaku.
I'm sorry? I did not know this.
Yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger's son is going to be performing at Dontaku.
Doing what? Wrestling?
No, he's not a wrestler. Have a look at your WhatsApp.
Wait, let me get my phone. Let's see.
The people who asked these questions wanted a live reaction from you.
Okay.
Because they thought you might not know.
I don't know about this.
And you don't.
That's Liger's kid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a handsome boy. Is he in a boy band?
Yeah.
He is, yeah. I did not know this. I'm probably going to get banned from every streaming service. Copyright. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of avoiding the potential disappointment of not living up to your father as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Just go to boy band instead.
I mean, these are all cute boys, man. I can see where the girls are going to go loopy over this. Is he the one wearing the hat with the horns?
I don't know which one.
Right?
I have to.
Right. I will say this: they're not very coordinated with the dance. They don't seem to be on the same page. I mean, look, it's a cute boy band.
Are we going to turn into a boy band review podcast?
I know. We're going to get that, like the J-pop fans all. Wow, it's a lot of lipstick we're wearing there, pal. Like Robert Smith. Oh, here we go. Breaking it down. Oh, boy.
It's quite mesmerizing, isn't it? I can't turn it off.
Yeah. I mean, this is not really my thing.
Boys' faces.
It's not really my thing, but...
No? I'm surprised, Damon. I thought you were...
I mean, musically? No. I mean, it's a little too poppy and innocent. Like, I like my music to be a little bit more... a little dangerous. I like a little danger. Okay. With Duran Duran.
All right, well, we'll move away from Dontaku.
I'll put this in the background while you talk.
A proper preview of that near the time. You can enjoy the rest of that while I talk about New Japan Strong. So this was Strong Style Evolved, Saturday, April 9th in Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg Coliseum. We had Tiger Hattori on commentary here, and we started off with Andy Brown versus Tiger Hattori.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah. We had Andy Brown against Hikuleo. So Hikuleo obviously won in 4 minutes, 34 seconds with the chokeslam. Pretty standard squash match, nothing to write home about. And we'll see how Hikuleo gets on against Jay White. Damon, give me the percentage chance that Hikuleo actually betrays his brothers. He betrays Gorillas of Destiny and stays aligned with Jay White.
I don't think so, right? That would be terrible. Blood is thicker than water, Joel. Come on. Please.
All right. Well,
this is a long song, by the way. Jesus Christ. All right.
Surprised you haven't turned
I'm sorry, I'll turn it off.
Second match was the Josh Alexander defeating Carl Fredericks in 14 minutes, 14 seconds with a C4 spike. I am a big Josh Alexander fan. I talk about him a lot. I think he's a guy that could make an immediate impact if he gets a chance in Japan. And Carl Fredericks looked really good here. I think this is one of his best performances. So if you haven't seen him for a while, definitely check this one out. There was a great pace and intensity to the match. He had the requisite babyface fighting spirit. I do suspect with Carl, he might be better as a cocky heel than a plucky LA Dojo underdog, but it worked here against a machine like Josh Alexander. And I don't think Carl should be beating someone like Josh Alexander yet, but I think he should be beating guys like Christopher Daniels. So, results aside, I think the performances for Carl are improving. I think he's looked a lot better in the last couple of months, but I keep saying this. I do want to see upward trajectory at some point. He needs a big win. He can't just keep bouncing back and forth between losing a singles match to an established name, to getting the pin in a 6-man tag match, to losing the next singles match again. I think that's putting a ceiling on him in the eyes of the fans. And, maybe I'm being impatient. I'm sure they could pull the trigger on this guy tomorrow and he'd feel like a big deal. But I get the impression of him treading water right now. So I've got mixed feelings on this. And again, getting the handshake and the pat on the back at the end of the match just makes him look like a loser. And I hope one day he just snaps and kicks the shit out of the next veteran who tries to give him the attaboy treatment. But there was an interesting little thing going on after this match. Derek says, I watched Strong and saw they beat Carl Fredericks again, and I wondered if they were doing a yo thing with him. But then QT and company came out. I saw maybe the Dojo gang would have a group to battle and get some wins over. What was your take? So yeah, we had the Factory from AEW coming out. To be honest, I don't know who these guys are, and I've been watching AEW over the past few weeks, so these guys must be fairly low at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of importance. I believe that they're jobbers to the stars, and they dropped in the old Scott Hall, you know who we are, but you don't know why we're here line. In my case, I didn't know who they were either, but apparently they were just fed to Hook in AEW. So hopefully they can give Carl and Clark and you a little boost, give them a little feud where they can get a nice win under their belt. Third match, we had Fred Rosser and Eddie Edwards?
Eddie Edwards?
No, Eddie Kingston. It says Eddie Edwards on the website. It was Fred Rosser and Eddie Kingston against Fred J. Hyatt and Daniel Garcia. Come on, who's running the website?
I wonder.
Eddie Edwards. No,
I wonder.
This feels like AEW using Strong to promote their own storylines, because Kingston and Daniel Garcia were going at each other. They're at each other's throats, which is fine. That's fine. You know, companies should be forming symbiotic relationships like this. And it is going to be interesting, possibly exhausting, weighing up who's getting the better end of the deal as this partnership continues, because no doubt both companies will want to squeeze maximum utility out of the partnership. But this match felt like more of an AEW offering than a Strong one, and that's not a criticism, it's more of an observation. And again, if New Japan can use the appeal of the likes of Eddie Kingston and the growing profile of Daniel Garcia to get eyeballs on their own talent in the card, everybody wins. I thought this was a good match. Fred Rosser got the pin, so mission accomplished. I think this is a win for everyone. And the main event was the USFJ Open Challenge match. Jay White defeating Chris Sabin. These guys, they also had a match on Impact, which was really good. Sabin actually won that one. So yeah, it will come as no surprise. This was really good. You know, Jay is the master of the sub 20-minute US TV main event, and against a veteran like Chris Sabin, you know it's not going to miss. So this is an easy recommendation, even if there's not much to analyze about it. We had some interesting stuff. So some announcements for Collision in Philadelphia on the 15th of May. What do you think of these, David? So we've got Chris Dickinson versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Nice. Minoru Suzuki versus Tony Deppen, Yuya Uemura versus Killer Cross, and Coughlin, Knight, and DKC against Team Filthy. So Violent Skipping says, how many minutes will Cross last before Yuya yells, "Fuck you, young boy," and double underhook suplexes him for the win? But yeah, some tasty matches there. I think Chris Dickinson versus Tanahashi is one I've definitely got my eye on. And, you know, we've got the big news in the week that Chris Dickinson has signed a deal with New Japan. Cactus Max says, do you think Chris Dickinson has done enough to get signed with New Japan? He seems like his match with Ishii, a perfectly acceptable margarita pizza, but not a future star. Which available talents would you like to see them sign? So yeah, let's talk a bit about the signing of Chris Dickinson.
He's a guy that is, you know, if there's a love letter to Japanese pro wrestling, like, he's writing it. He'll be fine. Like, they're
giving him a Tanahashi singles match, so no, not for nothing.
And back in Philly, the last time they were there, it was him and Suzuki, right? So he's getting the when the stars come over, he's getting them. So yeah, no. I mean, I think here's the thing. Again, also a nice little thing that shows that we're moving forward here. We're signing guys. We're putting pen to paper. That's a good sign, because, you know, in the past we were not. We could not. We did not. It was on hold. So this is a good signing. This is actually a very good signing. You want to lock down a guy like that.
You know he's going to be champing at the bit to get to Japan.
Yep.
What do you think the odds are of him being in the G1 this year?
Again, here's the thing. It's not like the guy would go tomorrow, you know, if you mailed a fucking plane ticket. It's just a matter of the logistics. Like, everyone that you think, would they be good in G1? Yes. It's just a matter of that, you know. And once that gets ironed out, I'm telling you, we're going to have. Here's what we're going to have. We're going to have a problem in that we won't be able to bring all the people that we want to bring over. And the people that like we're just going to have so much talent that we're going to have disappointed people that aren't getting pushed or whatever the case may be, just because you can't. It's impossible. This is the perfect example of when the levee breaks, Joel. It is going to be a flood of pro wrestling talent that's going to be in the New Japan ring. It's coming. Hang in there.
Just a little note here, actually, before we talk about Windy City Riot. There was an interview with Juice Robinson on Wrestling Observer Radio. He told Alvarez and Mike Sempervive that his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract expires at the end of this month. He has no plans to travel back to Japan. And later in the interview, he said that he's no more bookings after this weekend's New Japan Strong Show. He has no desire to wrestle. He was asked if there's anyone on his checklist, like Bryan Danielson, that he wants to wrestle. And Juice responded, "No, I don't really have anybody that I want to wrestle. There's nothing that really. I just don't have the urge to wrestle really anymore." He said he could be a really great house husband and he could do that very well. And that his fiancée, Toni Storm, loves what she's doing in AEW and it's a great time right now. So it does seem that the New Japan career of Juice Robinson and maybe even the wrestling career of Juice Robinson is coming to an end. And it's very sad. It feels like a missed opportunity, doesn't it?
A little bit. Like, I mean, people change, and maybe he just doesn't want. That's not what he wants in his life.
Do you think New Japan dropped the ball on booking him because he was persistently used as the guy to help get over people like Cody or Moxley, who the big sort of celebrities coming over from the States, and he was always on the losing end of those feuds? So, do you think that was an issue, or do you think this is more pandemic? He just sort of lost his enthusiasm for it. Obviously, he's a guy who relies heavily on getting the crowd involved, and that was not something that he was able to do in Japan with the clap crowds. He obviously didn't want to travel anymore, didn't want to do the quarantine. Was not particularly impressive. I'm not going to knock him now. When he went over here.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock him now. You know what I mean? Because this is the same guy that went to NXT, didn't get used, and said, "Okay, I'm going to fucking change everything." From where I live and what I eat and how I train, and I'm going to start over here. And he did that. And he turned into a solid mid to upper mid card guy, right? Like, I'm not taking that away from him at all. Like, he was a big surprise. And he worked hard to do that. It wasn't like he just showed up and it wasn't like he was AJ Styles, right? People change. I mean, if it's true, I mean, if he's not just fucking, going on a show and, he's going to debut on AEW tomorrow. I mean, if that's true, then you know what? I appreciate everything that he did. And at the end of the day, he worked as hard as he could. I mean, right? I mean, it's not like he took the easy path. So, did New Japan miss an opportunity? I don't know. I mean, he won the tag belts, right? He won World Tag League. And
what would you say his best match or matches in New Japan? For me, it's hard to look past the Jay White match in 2018, where he finally beat him for that US title. I thought that was really special.
Yeah.
The Josh Barnett JR match. And he had a great match with Naito as well in 2017 that I remember fondly.
Didn't he have a good match with Tanahashi too? I could have sworn.
Yeah, I also really liked the Moxley match, the first one, at the Best of the Super Juniors final.
Look, I think Juice was a valuable, one of the biggest pops, and I think it was like a Dash show where he got a big win. He got a
Goto.
Who did he pin? Was it Goto? Did he pin?
I think it was. Yeah.
I mean, at that time, that was a big fucking thing. So, nah.
An amazing promo as well. Like one of my favorite promos.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Look, again, did it work out? But here's the thing: it worked out because he's happy. He's doing what he wants to do, and if that's his decision, then that's his decision, and I respect that. And yeah, I mean, people change. Let me ask you this: when 10 years ago, look at how much your life has changed. You know what I mean? Right? In just 5 years. People change. Things happen. I appreciate everything he did. If that's the end of the road for Juice Robinson, I appreciate everything he did. Because to me, like, he did it. He didn't have to take that route, and he chose that route, and he did it. So I'm putting over Juice every day of the week.
And even if he decides to hang up his boots for now, somewhere down the line when things are hopefully back to normal and crowds are allowed to cheer again and the travels open up, maybe he gets that itch again and he wants to come over, and I'm sure the fans and us would welcome him back with open arms.
Doubt.
So, okay, so we got Windy City Riot coming up tomorrow, Saturday, April 16th. So by the time you're listening to this, it may have already occurred, but this is in the Odeum Expo Center. We have a dart match, Wheeler Yuta and Rocky Romero against the DKC and Kevin Knight. So a little story going into this about Wheeler Yuta. Is he still in Chaos? Is he joining the Blackpool Combat Club with Danielson and Moxley and William Regal? So yeah, this whole match does seem to be centered around Wheeler Yuta. Have you seen much Wheeler Yuta, Damon? Any thoughts on him?
I've seen a little bit in AEW. Again, I haven't gone back to watch that match in Atlantic City. Because
people going wild over this match. I think it was on Rampage. He had against, I want to say, John Moxley with a lot of blood in that match. And people were saying it was a star-making performance. And yeah, this was like days after I put him over and said that I think he's going to be a big deal in the future. And yeah, so I think he's going to be someone to keep an eye on. I don't know if this match is going to have some sort of chaos-related angle, but yeah, one to watch out for. We also have Carl Fredericks, Yu Uemura, and Clark Connors against Nick Comoroto, QT Marshall, and Aaron Solo. I am assuming this is going to be Carl Fredericks getting a win here and getting some of his heat back. Hopefully this sees more of an upward trajectory for him. We have Fred Rosser, Josh Alexander, Alex Coughlin, Ren Narita, Chris Dickinson against Team Filthy, Royce Isaacs, Jarrell Nelson, JR Kratos, Black Tiger, and Danny Limelight. I always love these multi-man tag matches. I'm sure this is going to be tremendous fun. And with some of the talent, I mean, I love Team Filthy, but some of the talent on the babyface team, Josh Alexander, Alex Coughlin, Ren Narita, Dickinson, Rosser. I mean, that's a
good team.
That's a solid fucking team. Yeah. If we're looking at guys to be coming back to Japan and making an impact, I think that team look no further than that for some guys to take the bull by the horns. We have a special singles match, Tom Lawler against Yuji Nagata. What do you think of this being a singles match rather than him defending the title?
I can't believe they're not defending the title. I honestly can't. I don't know why they're not. Maybe they change it when they get there. I don't know. Who knows? But look, it's a singles match. I think it's kind of look. I'm treating it as a fucking title match. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Yuji Nagata wins. Do you?
No, absolutely not. But I think it will be just a fun. I don't want to say exhibition match, but just fun in as much as both of these guys obviously have mixed martial arts backgrounds. So I assume this is going to play into the match some way. And yeah, I think it will be a bit.
I think it'll be very good. I'm actually looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really good.
We got a 12-man tag where we've got United Empire, Henare, Jeff Cobb, Great O'Khan, TJP, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis. I'm intrigued for this one, just seeing Aussie Open teaming up together with United Empire for the first time, I believe. And then Bullet Club team, El Phantasmo, Hikuleo, Chris Bay, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, and Scott Norton. So
this is going to be good.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Scott Norton again. And yeah, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, did I hear somewhere that their Impact deals are up? Do you think they are,
yes.
You can bet the house on them being back with New Japan?
I mean, come on. Yeah.
Like cockroaches, aren't they?
They really are.
By a nuclear explosion, they still manage to crawl away and make a living for themselves.
There's just too many connections. You know what I mean? There's just too much. Yeah. There's too much history. So yeah, of course they'll be back.
We have a Chicago street fight with David Finney, Juice Robinson, and Brody King against Jonah, Shane Haste, and Bad Dude Tito.
My boy.
I mean, I think TMDK should probably get the win here. I'm interested in Jonah, actually, because I've heard a lot of people quite down on him recently, and they think he's been performing poorly. I think there was a match, maybe against Black Taurus. I could be wrong there, where people thought he wasn't great. So it is interesting that he has not been given many singles matches since joining New Japan. He is doing mostly tag stuff. So I'm wondering if this is an issue of him sort of being hidden away in tag matches for the time being. So yeah, maybe jury's out on Jonah until we see him in a high-profile singles match against a decent name. We have the US of J Open Challenge match, Jay White against X. Damon, any ideas, any guesses who you think this mystery challenger might be? I'm thinking maybe someone like Biff Busick, or maybe even the artist formerly known as Cesaro. Just looking at the outline here, which could just be a stock image. I don't even know if this is the shape of the rest of that is going to be involved, but it looks like a bald person. That's why I thought maybe one of those two guys. But yeah, any guesses who you think this could be?
I don't, honestly. It could be. I mean, look, the world's a weird place right now. Like, it could literally be anyone from fucking Samoa Joe to Cesaro to who knows, right? I mean,
the fact that they haven't announced it yet makes me think something's up, because usually they announce it beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's
want
maybe
pop.
even a little hook for Dynamite next week. I don't know if something might happen that's going to get people to want to watch AEW programming next week. Who knows? But yeah, I'm really interested to watch this one to see who the challenger ends up being. We have a singles match with Tomohiro Ishii versus Minoru Suzuki. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. Yep. There will be funny faces and forearms, and and people will probably, who don't watch a lot of these wrestlers, will wildly overrate it and say, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And I'm sure it'll be a good time. We'll have fun watching that one.
It'll be very good.
Main event special singles match: Jon Moxley against Will Ospreay. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be great. I think Moxley has improved and changed a lot as a wrestler over the last 2 years since we last saw him mixing up with New Japan wrestlers in Japan, at least. And so is Will Ospreay. So I think this is going to be a nasty match. I think it's going to be quite ugly. It's going to be hard hitting. Dare I say, there's probably going to be blood involved. And yeah, I think you're going to have a good time with this one.
You got a guy who's willing to do some crazy shit, and you could put that label on anyone, either of those guys. All right. So you got Will, who'll take crazy bumps. You got John, who's going to make you take crazy bumps. Yeah. And the build to this has been really good, and people are hyped. It sucks that the only way you look, I guess, live is Fight TV, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well,
I think there is a pay-per-view option on World, but that's Japanese language only. So I think if you want English commentary, then it's Fight TV.
Okay. I mean, look, what are you going to do?
I think there was a little competition going on. There are 5 free codes to give out. So if you follow the NJPW Global account and the Fight TV account on Twitter, tweet with the match you want to see most.
I don't know what any of that means.
Okay. No, actually, it was by the 14th of April, so I think we've missed the boat on that one.
Look, I mean, how much is the fucking thing? Is it? I mean, how much is this goddamn thing? Fight TV. I gotta look this thing up. If this is all right, give me the over under. What do you think the cost of this is? I'm going to set the over. I'll set the number.
Do you know?
Yeah, I have it right in front of me. I'll set the over under at $30. Is it more than $30 or less than $30? American.
I was going to say under. I think this is 20 US dollars would be a good price for this.
You son of a bitch! You looked. Yes, $20.
I did not. What is
$20. It's less than. It's $19.99.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go.
I might have to fucking do that. Here's the problem, man. And I just, again, I'm not here to shit on people, but every time I get something from them, the quality's terrible. It really is. I'm not just fucking saying it like I got an axe to grind. Like, it's just fucking terrible. And I'm not the only person to say that.
Yeah, and I think it's just down to sort of local production teams, because I know the services that they offer in Australia have been really good because they've got their own in-house production team.
Oh, who'd you hear that from?
A lot of people. Well, just whispers, right. Little birdies, little birdies, Tommy. Yeah, so this is something that can be fixed, is what I'm saying. It's not an issue that's endemic with Fight. You see Fight in Australia and it's good, so there's no reason why it shouldn't be better.
All right, well, give me the Australian feed and I'll pay $20.
All right, well, that is Windy City Riot. I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be good because I'm more out of intrigue for who that US of J challenger is going to be.
Who do you think? Give me a name.
I'll be optimistic. Let's go Cesaro.
Oh, look at that. Wouldn't that be something?
Claudio Castagnoli. I think he's calling himself Cesaro now. It's like CSRO or something like that. He's just taken out a couple of the vowels.
Anything to get away with?
Got to get a job done.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. All right, listen, that's going to be a good show. So, yeah, I'll probably find a way to get it. So, all right. Listen, we've gone 2 hours here, pal. What the fuck? Leafs are on. I'm missing this entire fucking game. Don't you have to go to work?
No, I'm still on holiday.
Jeez. How many fucking holidays do you have?
It's my New Year holiday. Well, one of the benefits of being a teacher, as I say, we cram 9 months of work into not 12 months of work into a 9-month period, and then the rest of it is
the kids aren't up yet? The kids aren't out of bed?
No, amazingly not. I was very careful. Every time I do this podcast, I fuck something up, and Esther ends up waking up. So the strategy now is that we put her to bed in our beds the night before our podcast.
Oh.
That way, there's no sort of variables about her waking up in her bedroom and coming into our room. And I put on the white noise machine fairly loud before I left the room to start the podcast. So hopefully I haven't woken her up.
Look at you. You got this fucking parenting shit down pat, man. You got it. You got it covered.
I'm a pretty great
I tell you
man.
what, I seen that Instagram shit, man. Oh, some of those pictures. So great. So great. What a lovely family you have.
You can follow me on Instagram.
What's that?
Don't follow me on Instagram. I was going to plug my Instagram, but no, I'm not going to.
Nah, don't do that. No, you don't want anybody to fucking follow you, do you? Really? You don't want that.
No. Okay. Shall we? I'm going to plug the Red Circle again, redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. We appreciate your donations. Please keep them coming. Discord link, if you want to get involved in that, please send me a DM on Twitter and I will send you an invite at Cobra Kawaii and ProWrestlingTees.com/super-j-cast for our t-shirts. Big thanks to editor Dan. You can find him on Twitter at LousyHero219. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. Give us a 5-snake review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the Super J-Cast. Thank you everybody for listening and goodbye.
Experience the power of 5G with T-Mobile. With faster 5G speeds nationwide, you can upload your favorite videos super fast or game on the go. Plus, T-Mobile has more 5G bars in more places, so you can stay connected to what matters most from almost anywhere. Switch to T-Mobile today, the leader in 5G.
T-Mobile has America's largest 5G network, fastest based on median overall combined 5G speeds, according to analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. 5G speeds for Q4 2021. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.